So. Gott. Spiel laden. Ja. Ich habe keinen Plan mehr, wo wir aufgehört haben. Aber so 0.
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
Oh toll. Wir werden direkt in einen Kampf geworfen. So, was war das? Das war, glaube ich, was Neues.
Can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done. Glad you have your uses.
I'll show you how useful I can be.
Zack.
Vacuum blade.
Irgendwas es ist. Ich hab echt bescheuert gespeichert. Was ich muss so sagen.
You're mine. Shine. Radiant astro arts.
That's my cue.
Turn the tables on them.
There are
Shut
still
them
more
down.
left.
Right. No time to hold back. Allow me to help you.
Wer von denen macht... Ach,
Here I come.
Incantation ruined.
so.
Regenerate.
Das ist F.
Stay still. Devastation. I'm ready. Not a chance. Dragon swarm. Here I come. Now I can let loose.
So, wenn ich das eine mache, haut mir Leben runter. Ich habe das Magier zu spielen. Ja.
Lightning tiger blade.
Warum sieht da einer aus wie ein Bauer? Das hatte ich letztes Mal
This
gemacht.
as valuable as I think it is?
So. Gut, wir haben auf jeden Fall Stuff bekommen und ich denke, wir müssen in die Richtung. Vielleicht.
My face is starting to sting. And my throat feels super parched.
Here, have some water. Just make sure you don't drink too much.
Thanks.
You want some too, Shion? Oh,
Okay.
wait. You're hungry more than anything, aren't you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Okay. Ich mogel mich mal hier vorbei. Obwohl, wir können immer noch kämpfen. Einmal Sesam, öffne dich und das ist Geld. Na super. Was haben wir hier? Kommt was Gutes? Ich hab's nicht gesehen. Ich hab's nicht gesehen, was ich bekommen habe.
Coming through. Vacuum blade.
Ach, das Vakuum Blade.
Our art is being interrupted.
Are those rocks in skin?
Vacuum blade. You picked the wrong fight.
No armor.
It looks like we've got this.
Coming through.
So.
Ha! Now. Scarlet Inferno.
I'll heal you all.
There. Heal.
Power grants me the
Hold on to your
blade.
blade. I owe you, Sion. Healing is what...
Ich weiß nicht, ich mag das Vakuum Blade irgendwie. Ich will wissen, ob es dafür eine bessere Variante gibt.
With your flames and my technique.
We're stronger together than we are apart.
Da, da, da. Nein!
Come one, come all. Its armor's too strong.
Then I'll split it open.
Be my guest.
A charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
I'm ready. There.
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
Sehr schön.
You got flyers.
I've got this. Got a marksman hammer.
All yours. There. Vacuum blade. Lionheart. There.
I never miss.
Vacuum blade.
Zack.
There.
Glück, da waren 2 Klicks dabei.
Vacuum blade.
Jetzt beide Dinge hier machen.
Here I
Wo
hope
ist
there
es
was
hin?
improvement.
Ich hab den Gegner
I
verloren.
wonder if we can make new weapons with this.
Ich hab die Orientierung verloren. Hinter mir. Warte. Hier. Oh. Okay. Machen wir doch. Eine hübsche Abkürzung. Hm. Ja. So. Wo haben wir denn ein Lager? Teleportieren uns mal kurz.
We've reached our destination.
Waffenschmieden. Ja. Für dich habe ich nichts. Nope, 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 nope. Objekte kaufen und verkaufen. Hast du Rüstung vielleicht? Mimimi. Bauernhof. Machen wir das Ganze so.
I always love the sound of hammers banging away.
Bang. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, 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 boom.
Aw, who's a good boy? Wait, why am I petting you?
Die Brille. Die Brille. Also die Brille ist geil. Erfahrung T. Verteidigung. So, darf Shion kochen.
Thanks for waiting, everyone. Come on over and grab some food.
Wow, so eine richtige Dampfkartoffel hätte ich auch Bock. Mit schönem Kräuterquark.
Mind if I join you, Law?
Hey, Alphen?
What's up, Law?
Ich kann ihn mit
You
dieser
ever
Brille nicht
find
ernst
yourself
nehmen.
just wanting to give Rinwell a pat on the back?
Law?
Not in a weird way. I'm just saying, she may be sassy, but
Oh,
she's
ich weiß
also
nicht, wie es ihr
trying
seht.
really hard, you know? And sometimes, when I see how hard she's working, I just wanna...
Manchmal sieht
Walk
diese
up and
Brille richtig
encourage her.
pervers aus.
Is that weird?
No, I can see why you might feel that way. After all, she is kind of like a little sister to everyone at this point.
Right, exactly! But I'm worried if I do it the wrong way, she'll blast me with her magic. Or if not her magic, she'll sick Hoodle on me to peck my eyes out.
Yeah, there's not much you can do if she's not feeling up for it. In fact, you're not the only one struggling to close that gap.
Huh? Has Hoodle attacked you too?
Ja, das wird zum Wackeln.
No, I just mean because of her thorns.
Thorns? I don't remember Rinwell having any magic like that. That sounds more like Shion than...
Oh. Er merkt's.
Anyway, Hoodle's probably just worried that you're going to take Rinwell away from him. He's pretty protective after all. Maybe your first step should be to make friends with him and go from there.
Right. That's a good idea, Alphen. I'll be sure to give that a try.
Thank goodness for Law's thick skull.
Gut.
Let's make sure to kick ass tomorrow, too.
Auf geht's. Wieder in die Feuerhölle. Mit.
You got...
So. Ich meine, wir haben ja die Abkürzung freigeschaltet. Und für was wäre sonst gut? Das dürfte man sich
Ready
nicht
to hit
alles
the
wieder
road? I
durchkämpfen.
know I am.
Ui. Also irgendwie funktionieren die Flügel nicht. Ich weiß ja nicht. Ja, wir mogeln uns hier mal kurz vorbei. Und finden dafür hier. Da kann Bad noch
Hold on for dear viewers. Here I come.
Ignite! Dragon Floor! There! Here I come!
Their hide is thick as armor.
Back Vacuum blade.
So.
Scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Stop me.
Remind me to stay on your
That can easily be fatal.
just as well. I'm
Hört auf, hier angerast zu kommen.
Okay, here I go. An astral art?
That's my cue.
Shut him down.
Du warst gerankt. Festgeklebt.
Vacuum blade.
Hallo.
Devastation. Stardust. Dragon swarm. Coming
Ich wollte gerade sagen, dann machst du es halt nicht. Aber gut. Wenn du das unbedingt auf den letzten Drücker machen willst.
Benediction.
my turn. Dragon swarm. Eat
Auf
this.
jetzt.
You're mine. I'll
I
thank you.
never miss.
Does it hurt?
Can't be through. Healing circle.
Dragon swarm.
Thanks for the healing.
watch your back, okay?
Yeah. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
Mega ray.
Reflect on
Wo ist es? Wo ist es? Da.
Breaking storm.
Vacuum blade.
Gott, freue ich mich auf die neue Brille.
I'm ready.
Dohalim. This one's got your name on it.
Jetzt, Dorlin.
Quite necessary when creating weaponry.
Eine rote Kiste ist eigentlich immer gut.
The design
Eine
of this
neue
equipment is
Rüstung für... Ihr trägt noch Rüstung. Sie. Ich hab's für die
You
anderen
must
was.
really like it, Alphin.
Die mehr oder weniger in der Tasche rumgammeln. Was soll's? Shit happens. Ui.
Great. Now I'm hurt and dirty.
Oh, heul nicht rum. Was ist hier?
This bridge will hold itself together, right?
most.
Ein Gewand für Rinwald. Okay, wird doch langsam mal Zeit, dass die was Gutes bekommt.
Definitely. Though I
Ich
won't
bin auch
make any
gespannt,
promises.
wann mein
Which one is it?
Avatar seine Hände bewegen kann. Das dürfte demnächst auch funktionieren.
Let's dispose of the trash.
Okay.
Why can't they just sit still?
See ya. Can you take care of that?
No complaints here.
Du bist nicht die Person, die ich gerade angegriffen habe.
Not today.
Okay.
Vacuum blade.
Ich wollte gerade sagen, warum liegt sie auf dem Boden? Das habe ich verpasst.
We turn the tables on him. Right. No time to hold back.
Du kommst von der falschen Seite, meine Liebe.
You're mine.
Das ist derselbe.
This one's got your name on it.
A merry distraction.
There's still more to go.
My turn. Soaring light spear.
Do it.
Blackened blade.
Not on my watch. Lunar corruption.
Here I come.
Besiegt.
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
Ich habe die Orientierung verloren. So ein bisschen. Little bit. Hört man mich überhaupt? Ja. Moment. Muss ich hier doch gerade mal was gucken. Test. Machen wir mal hier so. Sicher ist sicher. Attacke!
This delicious piece of cake. Water, hear my call.
Vacuum blade!
Here, glacial spear. Here's evil.
Vacuum blade!
If it cools up, cutting it out of the way.
Oh,
Vacuum blade! Burn in hell!
All back in their defenses.
Glad you have your uses.
Vacuum blade!
I'll show you how useful I can be.
Searing flame.
I'll stop its charge.
Thanks, Kitara.
okay.
Vacuum blade!
Glacial spear. Here's evil. Lightning orb.
Vacuum blade!
Lancer.
Radiant light! Lightning regeneration! Stardust! Take this!
You attack without mercy.
Because I can't afford to hesitate.
Not against a worthy opponent.
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
So, sehr schön, was meine Leute hier machen. Very, very nice. Hey, Sleek.
This calls for a celebratory drink.
Zack. Karte. Was soll den Überblick verloren? Aber ja, ich bin richtig. Ach,
Out of our way.
Dragon swarm!
I never miss. You have to aim for the bright area on their back.
Vacuum blade!
Go for the weak point.
It's almost too strong.
Split it open! Be my guest!
ui.
Vacuum blade! There!
Got it.
So, jetzt kann ich das Fall am guten Down.
I'm ready! No escape! You picked the wrong fight!
So geht's auch.
Wow. Look what I just found.
Schön. Dass du was gefunden hast. Da unten geht's weiter. Wir gucken erstmal hier oben. Okay. Da wächst wieder
Retreat if you know what's good for you.
Zeug.
Vacuum blade!
Grant me the strength to march on.
Zack.
Got flyers!
I've got this.
Another incantation ruined. This one keeps
All yours!
reveals art too.
We'll soon see about that.
Vacuum blade! I owe you one.
In a bind.
There!
Ah. Ui, wir liegen beide.
Grant me the strength to march on.
Vacuum blade!
Lion heart. I'm in your debt.
Vacuum blade!
Wir sind in der Luft. Wobei,
Rending you apart! Bloody howling!
ich
I
verstehe es
have
nicht
no
ganz.
limit! You're mine! Burn!
Negative gate. Onward.
It's over!
So, Vakuum Blade.
Ready! There! We turned the tables on them.
There are still more left.
Right! Coming through!
So, dann machen wir den mit dem hier kaputt.
Scarlet
Schlecht.
Inferno!
Grant me the
Water,
strength.
hear my call.
Vacuum blade!
Lion
Dazzle!
Glacial spear. Pierce evil.
Soaring light spear!
Freeze lancer.
You're mine!
Oh, hau halt ab.
Raging storm.
Komische Gürtelratte hier.
You're more! Look sharp!
So,
Lightning tiger blade!
sehr schön. So, was
Looks
kriegen
like
wir?
we won.
Roter Salbei. Weiß ich immer noch nicht, für was das ist. Muss ich ehrlich sein. Glätter, Glätter. Das können wir auf dem Rückweg holen. Ananas-Gelee holen wir jetzt. Eins, zwei. Goldenes Gelee. Erste Hilfe habe ich rausgenommen. Heilung, Aufhebung, Vision, Barriere. Ich wollte eigentlich nur in das eine Vieh reinrennen. Hat ja gut geklappt.
In a bind. Not today. Vacuum blade.
So, Vacuum Blades.
Vacuum blade.
Astral energy.
Say no more.
Sehr schön.
Well done.
My turn.
Fire's an awesome force in this blade.
Das ist wieder.
Grant me the strength to march on. Vacuum blade.
Here's evil. Come forth, holy greenland. Holy land. A chain between heaven and earth. Do it. A
Sehr
wailing
schön.
banshee of lightning.
Very nice.
I can feel my power growing.
Hier waren wir. Fehlt nur noch hier. Dass ich einfach durchlaufen kann. Nice.
Hi, Hoodle.
Ich habe noch gar nicht darauf geachtet, ob Hude da in der Nähe ist.
Another incantation brewing.
So. Geh auf!
How are your weapons holding up? That's not to give me any idea.
So, gleich haben wir.
As always.
Ah, yeah, I hope that wasn't true.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion
Wo ist er?
You're mine.
Geht doch. Elfi kann das halt auch.
My concentration is dwindling. Perhaps I'm tired.
Karte. Genau, die nächste runter.
It's crazy to see rocks melt before our eyes.
Watch where you're going,
Yeah.
everyone. If you fall, there will be nothing left of you.
Exactly. So don't try anything funny. Especially you, Law. Nope.
Boah. Goldnes.
Pushing it.
Dann bau uns doch mal eine
I didn't
Brücke.
know you had that sort of trick up your sleeve, Dohalim. I would have figured rocks and plants would be too different for you to handle both. Not
Oh. Das dürfte ja. Also dann.
necessarily.
Noch? Karte, damit haben wir uns den Weg außenrum gespart. Wir werden ihn aber trotzdem gehen. Oh, Moment, wir gehen erstmal da hoch. Okay, da hüpfen wir dann einfach runter. Wir gehen erstmal nach außen oder die nächste Ebene. So. Speichern. Wir gehen zurück. Ah. Dann sollten wir aus irgendeinem Grund sterben. Hier hinten. Müssen wir das ganze Kladderadatsch nicht nochmal machen. Und sollten wir es überleben. Müssen wir es erst recht nicht nochmal machen.
Be my guest.
I've used too much.
Will this
You're mine! Now, while it's reeling,
take it down?
coming through!
So, damit wäre einer der beiden schon mal down.
Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Oder auch nicht.
I'll stop its charge.
Thanks, Kisara.
There! Try harder! My turn!
You are in tip-top shape.
As soon as I'm done here, come
So,
on back.
How could a girl ever say no?
500 Schaden ist
Aggressive as always.
Here I hope that wasn't true.
nicht schlecht.
I mean, you're even better than ever. I've never seen Sion actually look flexible. Do it! Get
So, dann
toasty!
hau mal drauf. Meine Lieben.
I'm pretty worn out.
Want to rest up for a bit?
Wir sind echt viele von den Großen.
Little help!
Any more of this and I'll burn out. Burn!
No more Miss Nice Girl!
Das war das Falsche.
Flying footy! What if they just sit still?
Can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
No armor could stop me!
Remind me to stay on your good side.
The enemy wields arcs too.
You'll soon see about that.
Charge like that.
Weiß nicht, ob ich zuletzt hauptsächlich mit drin bin, weil ich gekämpft habe.
I can show you mine if you like. That would be really awesome, Sion. This ends
So, und damit ist auch der Knall kaputt. Was sehr gut ist an für sich. Oh, das war's schon.
Fighting in this state isn't advisable.
Okay, hier finden wir nichts mehr. Das heißt, wir gehen einfach weiter. Wir riskieren nicht einfach noch einen Kampf. Speichern gerade gleich nochmal. Wundert, dass hier kein Händler ist. Speichern. Benutzen. Danke. So. Bin gespannt. Den kennen wir doch vom ersten Bossfight.
What the hell is that thing?
Probably that monster Nath warned us about, if I had to guess.
Do you think this might have been where one of those lights that shot out of the wedge landed?
But why this location? If the purpose of the wedge is to harvest Dana's astral energy.
We can figure that out later. If that thing gets into town, it's going to cause chaos. We need to take it down and move on.
Let's go!
Okay. Zum einen möchte ich bitte sie spielen. Die scheint mir Feuer zu sein. Und ich behalte göttlicher Säbel. Passt.
One's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Here it comes! Focus!
On your toes, everyone. Let the marksman handle
Suddenly turning
Wie kann ich
tails
es
doesn't seem so
angreifen?
ridiculous.
this. Why? Are you scared?
Me?
Es ist außerhalb der
Do you even
Reichweite.
have to ask? Of course I'm scared.
Focus up before we become that thing's lunch.
It's summoning Zoogles? Take care of them while keeping an eye on it. Freeze Lancer!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara. I'll bring you back from death to Purge Malevolent! Blah, blah, blah. Freeze Lancer!
Einfach nicht da stehen, wo die Viecher
Freeze Lancer!
spawnen.
Here goes! What is it?
You get the gist. Freeze Lancer! Freeze Lancer! One last one!
Dare strike me from behind?
Oh! Gar nicht darauf geachtet.
Raging Cascade! Raging Cascade! By the power of Raging Cascade! Chain between heaven and earth!
Another incantation ruined.
A wailing fancy of
I couldn't make it in
Genau, das wollte ich.
Healing circle! A wailing fancy of lightning! I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Divine savior! I'll bring you back from death's abyss! One more! Purge malevolent! Resuscitation! Gotcha!
Not done yet.
Healing circle!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Ja.
I really don't.
Raging Cascade! Raging Cascade! A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing banshee of lightning! Divine savior! Here's evil! A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing banshee of lightning! Divine
Okay.
by the power hot water! One more! By the power hot water! One last one! I'll heal you all in your dreams! I never miss! One more! Take that! Bullseye! Magic is there! Healing circle! Blah-blah-blah! Blah-blah-blah! Spread! You get the gist!
Wassersäule.
Blah-blah-blah!
Oh, der erste ist down.
Do it! Sion, astral energy! Full throttle!
Spannend.
A flawless victory! Naturally! Can't be
Stay away from my friend.
You'll find no mercy.
Oh nein, Shion ist down.
Raging Cascade! Heart requires complete focus! Raging Cascade!
Behold! The earth pulse!
Das sehen wir auch zum ersten Mal.
Tectonic fission!
Holy shit. Was hat der denn bitte drauf?
Raging Cascade!
Imbue this vanquish
Raging Cascade! Raging Cascade!
regeneration!
Raging Cascade!
You must be killing me.
Sion, astral energy! Full throttle!
Oh.
I'll heal you all!
Und nun?
Healing circle! What would I do without you?
Here come more!
You'll just have to keep fighting.
That's my cue!
Shut him down.
Arcane waterfall!
Finish it.
Raging Cascade!
In an instant.
Oh,
We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
jetzt so machen.
Raging Thank you, Dohalim.
I only did what any
In the
other would.
sky is mine! I think you're nicer than you let on.
Au.
No more playing nice!
Bin down.
Some punishment?
Fail.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Resuscitation! I've still got some fight left in me! Lunar corruption! Spread! Raging Cascade! I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Spread! Resuscitation!
So.
No rest for the wicked.
Strategie. Okay.
Reinforcements incoming!
Not a problem! Purge malevolence! Arcane waterfall! Freeze
Okay.
Raging Cascade!
Oh nein, Shion ist wieder down.
Raging Cascade!
Can't get out of this!
Looking good.
Raging Cascade!
Stalagmite! Forgive me.
Das sieht nicht so gut aus.
Purge malevolence! Raging Cascade! By the power of water! I'm mega sorry!
Ich bin Matschepampe.
Just what the doctor ordered. I'll bring you eat dirt. Raging cascade. Can't be happening. Fresh. Raging cascade. Take care of.
Wie besiege ich das Vieh? Nein. Okay. Machen wir das Ganze mal so. Gut.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Achso, ja, die Strategie noch. Ja. Gut.
Here it comes. Focus.
On your toes, everyone.
So, auf geht's.
Primed and ready.
Dauert noch ein bisschen.
Suddenly turning tail doesn't seem so ridiculous.
Why? Are you scared?
Einen schönen guten Morgen, Aviarios.
Are you?
Do you even have to ask? Of course I'm scared.
Focus up before we become that thing's lunch.
Hier alles durcheinander.
It's summoning Zoogles? Take care of them while keeping an eye on it.
On guard.
There!
Go.
You
Gut.
paid for that!
Und selbst?
Bring you back
You
from
picked
death
the
to
wrong
this.
fight!
Hurricane strike.
Take this!
Resuscitation.
Take
Will
this!
this help?
Die erste ist bei mir schon Matsche. Das ist gar nicht schön.
It's over! Now if you let loose.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Geh kaputt.
I really don't.
Geh kaputt.
It's over!
Time to shine.
It's over!
Going in.
Geh kaputt.
Keep charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Die Viecher sind hartnäckig. Ich meine, das sieht man ja an der Combo.
Not done!
Raging storm! Got it! Now's our chance!
Hurricane strike.
Take this!
This one's mine.
Vacuum blade!
Raging storm!
No escape!
Ich weiß beim besten Willen nicht, wie ich den besiege.
Vacuum blade!
Außer indem ich seine Ads kille.
On guard.
Whirling struggle!
Vacuum blade!
Winds of heaven! First
No
force!
escape!
Ready to go.
Da,
Go for it!
Nummer 1.
Prepare to crumble. Think we overdid it?
Here I come!
Not by a long shot.
Ui,
Vacuum blade!
This one's here.
Illuminate the dark!
Now where was
A
it?
whirling struggle!
Hurricane strike.
Winds of heaven!
Look sharp.
Healing circle! This can't be happening!
It's over! Come one, come all! Eat dirt!
Far enough.
3.
Take this!
Hurricane strike. This one's mine. My head's spinning just watching you.
Attacke!
Vacuum blade!
Illuminate the dark!
Going in.
Magic is hit! Holy lamp!
Look sharp.
Vacuum blade!
I'll smash you!
The flames will roar! Burning strike! Purge malevolence! It looks like you got this one covered!
Okay. Nee, angreifen kann ich ihn nicht.
Clean natural energy with that gear!
Muss ich nicht wie damals in seinen Angriff reinstellen?
Between heaven and earth! A wailing fancy of light!
Stiller?
Don't mind if I do!
Here I come! I'm not done! Burn!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer!
Jon ist immer noch am Boden.
Here I come!
Crescent moon! The flames will roar! Now!
Look sharp! Lightning thunder blade!
Objekt. Trank des Lebens, Shion.
What was I thinking? Will this help?
Here come more!
We'll just have to keep fighting. The enemy wields ours too.
We'll soon see about that. Sleep now.
Take this!
Their hosts were interrupted.
Ich muss aufpassen, dass meine Leute nicht wirklich... Okay,
Try harder! My turn!
das ist es nicht.
Stay away from my friend!
Wieso ist Shion schon wieder down?
They're all coming after me.
I'm coming, Rinwell.
I'm not scared. I'm totally fine.
Nächstes down.
That's gonna smart. This can't be happening. No way out.
Gott.
Only land. Now.
Look sharp!
Schneller.
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Schneller.
New lease on life. A wailing gun ready. Will this help?
Verdammt.
You have to hold on. Mind if I do? I'll bring you back from death. Lightning
I can carve through armor!
Mit der Taste kann ich nichts machen.
in here. Okay.
You're mine! No!
It's in the sky.
I'm not done!
Swallow too.
So.
Thanks, Shion.
Geht ihr bitte mal da weg? Geht ihr mal bitte aus. Geht weg! Und kriegt nicht Schaden ab!
I'll heal you all.
Was muss ich machen?
Healing circle. What would I do without you?
Ja, bitte.
Reinforcements incoming!
Not a problem.
Hört doch auf, darin rumstehen zu bleiben.
This one's mine.
You're mine! It's
I
over!
never miss. Will this help?
Autsch.
Sleep now. Healing circle.
Not today! Not a chance!
Up and out.
Okay. Unter seiner Hand stehen tut's auch nicht. Vielleicht müssen wir ihn ermüden?
A whirling circle.
Ich weiß es nicht.
First force.
I'll take you all on!
Nein, das ist ihr Spezialangriff. Wenn sie sauer ist.
Vacuum Blade!
Taking storm.
Dragon Swarm!
Hold on, T-Bar.
Damn!
Illuminate the
Das müsste unsere Rindel sein.
golden pearl.
You really don't need my help, huh?
Nonsense. Who else will cook and clean for me?
Damn it. I should have kept my trap shut.
I thought you more defensively minded.
Defense via threat elimination.
So the best defense is a good offense.
Du hüpfst um die Ecke.
This is smart. Healing circle.
Vacuum Blade!
Thanks for the healing. Watch yourself, okay? Yeah. You too.
Try harder! My turn!
I'll heal you all. Blaster.
Apropos.
Here I come.
There!
Genau, konzentrier du dich mal auf jemand anderen, dann kann ich dich hier in Ruhe niederstrecken.
Can't move!
Und dann, um dann demonstrativ von einer riesigen Faust zerquetscht zu werden. Ist auch eine Option. Danke, Shion. Ich weiß, warum ich die im Team habe. Oh ja, ich weiß, warum ich die im Team habe.
In here. I'll heal you all. Let's get you all tucked away. The waters of magic is in healing circle.
And just like that, I'm back.
Start by holding the front line.
No
So.
sooner said than done.
Ja,
Ready. Plunger.
Here I come! Now!
so schön zerstört.
Take it down. Sleep now.
Weiter geht's.
Go and make it lunar blast. This ends
Und nun
now.
Consider yourself
noch eine Welle. Oder begnügt der Herr sich jetzt auch mal hier in den Ring zu steigen?
Look sharp, everyone!
right?
We won't surrender. We won't retreat. Not yet.
Whatever you do, just please stay safe. I'll heal you all.
I have to
Ihr
train
seid
hard.
gerade alle verreckt. Nicht ich.
I'll handle it.
Alfred,
Watch and learn.
Eins.
That's enough. Go back down.
Ist es so intelligent, ein Lavamonster in die Lava zu schubsen? Kann mir das mal kurz einer verraten? Also ich finde es ja nicht so schlau. Aber gut.
Everyone okay?
Er hat ihn gerade gewonnen-hit.
yeah, I think so.
That thing scared the pants off me.
It felt like it had a different aura than other Zeugles, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't like the one that Almadria sicked on us either.
Its elemental astral energy variance was out of this world. It was like fighting a lord.
I guess it's safe to assume that if it came out of the wedge, it must have played some part in helping harvest astral energy. But what?
Perhaps a living spirit vessel? It's plausible, given the location. Or it may be part of a new force dispatched to regain control of Dana.
If we assume that monster was one of the 4 beams of light, we must have prevented something from taking place here.
I'd like to think so, knowing how much grief it gave us. But at least with that out of the way, we can keep moving forward now. Let's go.
Jetzt. Oh. Hör auf. Unerbittlicher Lord. Nee. Doch. Unerbittliches Lodern. Okay, ein bisschen falsch habe ich gelesen. Dann hat die Dauer von Überlimit. Macht es für dich einfacher, das Überlimit auszulösen. Ach Gottchen. Das da. Das da. Das da, dann haben wir das voll. Kriegen Bonus-Stats. Und dann haben wir das auch voll. Oh, da können wir sogar noch was extra lernen. So. Geheimer Schlüssel.
Good to know.
Warum habe ich ihn denn jetzt
My training is paying off.
als Frontman? Ah. Nein? Strategie. G. Zitronengelee, Zitronengelee, Trank des Lebens. Ah. Eins. Oh, 2. Na toll, Stufe 1. Wo kommen wir jetzt hin? Bin gespannt. Okay.
Hey, is that it over there?
Das ist ein Raumschiff, aber was mich eher interessiert, ist der Händler hier. Waffen schmieden. Oh. Ich kann... Warte, die hat er ausgerüstet. Kriegst mal eine neue Waffe. Och, mir fehlt ein Lumina-Kern. Wollt ihr mich trollen jetzt? Hast du jetzt neue Rüstung? Nö. Computer sagt
I
nein.
always love the sound of hammers,
Hübscher Stein. Wollte immer noch seine Brille ändern.
Did you remember something?
No, but I have seen this starship before.
Schön,
This
schön.
is it. This is the ship I traveled in when I escaped from Lenegis.
Ui.
Three centuries later, and it's no worse for wear. I'll take a look at the internals.
Und es funktioniert immer noch.
Damn! I'm amazed it still works at all after all this time.
The past meets the present. I really am from a different time and place.
Yeah, but you've got us now, Alphen.
Alphen ist
Not
sehr
only
alt,
that,
ja.
but you've helped out so many people too.
Law's right. Rinwell too. You're one of us now. No more carrying the weight of history on your shoulders. You're a part of this world.
Right. Thanks, you guys.
Auf geht's. Mal eine kurze Frage. Hört man den Lüfter vom Laptop sehr laut?
How's it look?
It should fly. All internal systems seem to be operating. However, considering how long it's remained inactive, I suspect it will take some time before it's ready for takeoff.
How much time are we talking here?
Starship mechanics are not what I'd call my forte, so I'd rather not hazard a guess.
So we've just got to sit around here and wait? I'm terrible at waiting.
That's because you're a child. Oh,
Super.
but how about we use this time to prepare and gather supplies for
Ja,
the
wir
trip?
haben...
Good idea.
Wann haben
Who
wir
knows
umgebaut?
when
Vor
we'll be back
2
to
Tagen?
Lenegis once we leave.
2, maximal
We
3
should
Tagen
prepare ourselves for
haben wir das
every
ganze
possible
Büro
scenario before we
umgebaut
go.
und jetzt ist mein
Let's
Mikrofonarm
try not to stay away
hinterm
too long.
den Monitoren
I'd
mehr oder
hate for
weniger.
anything to happen to the place while we're gone.
Either we race
Und
ahead,
ja,
or we take due precaution to ensure we have no regrets.
ich habe hier absolute
I shall leave it up to
Freiheit,
you as
was
to how
mir dann
we
auch
proceed,
beim
Alphen.
Handtracking zum
Works
Vorteil
for me.
kommt, wenn mein Geburtstagsgeschenk endlich ankommt. Ja, hier gerade mal gucken. Liebe Post-App. Versand-App. Wo haben wir dich? Steht da jetzt schon was? Außer, dass es abgegeben wurde. Verdammt. Voraussichtlich am Wochenende haben wir Handtracking.
Are you just going to keep standing around or what?
Sorry, I'm just getting prepped over here.
Hier? Hier? Ich kann hier nichts machen. Ah, hübsch. Sehr hübsch. Abwarten und Tee trinken.
It's fun.
Hallöchen
isn't it?
Lama.
What is?
All this. When we first started this thing, did you ever imagine we'd be going to Lenegis?
Ich vergesse
After
jedes Mal
all,
die Brille
this
zu
is the
ändern.
sort of thing I was rebelling against when I ran away from home, right?
I'm sure Zephyr would be proud if he knew what his
Boah,
son
wie
was doing
dieser
right now.
And a little shocked,
der
too.
Heiligenschein wackelt.
We're defying the order of things that have
Wenn
persisted
nickt.
for 300 years. Deep down, I knew our journey would lead to confronting Lenegis.
Yeah, you maybe, but you're a Renan. The rest of us can barely even picture what it means to leave Dana.
No offense to Shion and Dohalim, but it's worth remembering we're heading into enemy territory.
No offense taken, and this is no picnic for me either.
Remember, our aim is to ensure that both Lenegis and the Renan homeworld leave Dana alone for good. I don't think we'll be able to avoid a fight.
Is there no way we can talk them into leaving us alone?
The people of Lenegis?
Sure. I mean, we found a way to make it work with Shion and Dohalim, right? And it's not just us. If places like Menancia can do it, then why can't we?
Because there are still many of my kind who believe it was right and natural that Rena reigns over Dana. There are those on Lenegis who have never stepped foot on Dana. I doubt whether they'd even listen to Danans.
Look, none of us want to fight. But these are the same people who fired that wedge down on Dana. What happens next is on them.
Right. We're not going to sit back and wait for them to oppress us again.
Right.
Don't forget, there's also a good chance the Red Woman is somewhere on Lenegus. And wherever she is, we should find the Renaissance too.
That's right. If we can take it back, then Xion can finally get rid of her thorns.
Hoffen wir es.
Xion? Huh? Yeah.
Irgendwas verheimlicht uns Gion noch. Wie kann man nur im Sitzen schlafen?
Xion?
Das ist doch mega unbequem. Die Gruppe hat sich aufgelöst.
Where'd Xion go? How could she just go off on her own? Xion. Xion!
Gegrillt.
Thorns? But why? You okay? Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
Was ist mit ihr los?
Stay out of my way.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
Wenn ihr weiter so rumbrüllt, weckt ihr noch die anderen.
I won't let you.
I mean it.
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again. Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case, then go ahead and shoot me!
Sie schießt nicht. Oh. Sag ich doch, die anderen werden wach.
Do you remember back when I was stabbed? By Volron?
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time.
Huh?
The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
Couldn't die? So you're immortal? How's that even...
Dafür lagst du aber jetzt vorhin schon ganz oft auf dem Boden.
I believe you, Xion. But tell me how is something like that possible?
My thorns. They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me. I have no idea why, but my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death?
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I've seen it. A darkness that swallows up everything until nothing remains.
What?
It's a vision of oblivion I can't escape. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself, I know it's not.
Yeah, but you... Wait. The whole reason You needed the Renaissance was to get rid of your thorns, right?
If I burn away what's inside, then what will happen to the rest of me? Right. Either way you look at it, I'm going to die.
Oh mein
But if
Gott.
I am going to die, I figure I can at least take my thorns out with me. That's what I've been after this whole time.
That's why you turned your back.
Damit habe ich überhaupt nicht gerechnet.
Chose to fight with us, isn't it? And while we've all been fighting to keep on living, you have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore.
Shion, don't lose hope yet. We'll find a way to save you. There's still time to.
It's pointless.
Why?
Because the darkness won't just consume me. The truth is, it will consume all of existence as well. It was only a suspicion at first. But ever since the Red Woman triggered my maiden powers, I've been more certain than ever before. It was then that I finally came to realize my powers were holding my thorns in check the entire time. But they don't anymore. Not since Lenegus, when the wedge fell. Every day, I feel the thorn's power growing stronger inside of me. Pretty soon, I won't be able to hold them back anymore. And when that happens,
They will consume all existence.
Oh mein Gott.
And that's why you wanted to leave by yourself. You planned to find the Renaissance on your own and sacrifice yourself to stop the thorns.
But that's too much. It's way too much.
when this all began, I didn't care what happened to me or anyone else. And what happened to the Renans or the Danans didn't matter to me at all. I know I have to die, but I don't want to. Not now that I have this. I wish we had never met. Then I wouldn't have to feel this way.
Shion!
Elvin?
Living for the sake of dying is no better than being a slave. How can you endure this?
Elvin.
It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen. We
Ihr wird
can fight this.
schön gegrillt.
Fight until the end together. Isn't that what you said to me before?
Even if it should mean that it'll be the end of everything else, too?
Shion, what do you want? It's your decision, ultimately. But if you decide not to fight fate, I will. Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
Gerade richtig Pipi in den Augen.
And I, for one, don't believe this venture is without hope.
Huh?
Shion is the descendant of a maiden from 300 years ago. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that those events have some connection to her thorns. the true nature of which I imagine we will discover as we make our way to Lenegis and uncover the truth of what's unfolding here.
Ich liebe das Lied, was im
Might find a
Hintergrund
way to
ist.
get rid of her thorns and she'll live?
It's certainly possible, though I suspect the nature of the Sovereign is connected somehow.
So be it. I've already lost everything I had once. And I won't let it happen again. Shion. No matter what happens from now on, we're right here with you. All of us are. You are not alone.
You guys. You're all so stubborn.
Diese Brille! Die zerstört einfach diese wunderschöne Cutscene.
Thank you, everyone. For right now, and a little while longer, I just want to hold on to this dream. And most of all, more than anything else, I want to be with all of you. So let's go. On to Lenegis.
Oh. Ich hab Pipi in den Augen. Oh, sprich wieder mit allen.
The end of the world. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I believe Shion is telling the truth. What about you?
As a friend, yes, I want to believe her. Everything that's happened seems to point towards some sort of great danger that's lurking ahead of us. Still, it's hard to fathom something that could usher outright doom to the world. That those really are the stakes we face.
No, I understand. Even Shion doesn't seem to know exactly what will happen to bring it all about.
We have so many pieces of the puzzle in our hands, so many clues, yet the complete picture eludes us.
So where do her thorns fit in then?
Well, I imagine they must sit at the very center of it all. You remember the voice we all heard while we were inside the wedge, don't you?
Yeah, I remember. It was the will of Dana's astral energy come to life. Or that's what we all thought.
Right. And from that, we're able to hypothesize how vast concentrations of astral energy can become sentient. Let's return to when we found Shion in Pelagian. When her thorns went wild, they contained far more astral energy than any mere Renin would normally have inside them.
So you think those thorns might be alive too? That their will is what keeps her from dying? But why would they want to destroy the entire world?
As for that, I really cannot say for certain. Its goals still remain a mystery. It may be a mere fluke that her maiden powers have been able to contain it thus far.
You know, I've noticed since we've met that you like figuring out riddles.
Can you blame me? When one realizes that the world they once thought to be true is but a mere facade, they can't help but seek the truth. Especially when that deception has led to others getting hurt.
Dohalim?
I imagine the remaining pieces of the puzzle that we seek rest somewhere within Lenegis. As for what the final picture will look like, who can say? I think it's best we not dwell on it too much for the time being.
Right.
So. Nächster.
How you holding up?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again, didn't you?
Oh, that? That was nothing.
Compared to what Shion's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shion wants to have to see you get hurt by her thorns, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'll be careful.
Shion doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing in to save her at the last minute.
Yeah, very funny.
I'm being serious. You went up and held her close like you still had that mask on, and you didn't even bat an eye. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did with the rest of us.
I just want for Shion what we all have. The ability to touch someone without the fear of killing them. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted. And it's not right.
You can say that again. It may be normal for us, but that doesn't make it any less special or important for her. I hope she gets what she wants. I have my own dreams, but a world without her, where she dies so we can all survive, isn't a world I want to live in.
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken from her, and I'm done with it.
Oh. Gott.
Can't sleep?
After everything we just heard, how could I?
Fair enough.
Shion's had to deal with so much on her own. Even when we were all laughing and celebrating, she just kept quiet and didn't say anything. I thought she was keeping her distance because of her thorns. That it was because she didn't want to hurt anybody by getting too close. I just figured that that was the type of person she was, you know? But it turned out to be none of that. All this time, she felt like she had to die and sacrifice herself for the greater good. But even then, she didn't think she could say anything to us about it.
I know.
She was so alone this entire time. How could I call her a friend and yet be so completely blind to everything she was going through?
I'm sure it made her happy, knowing you were there for her.
You really think so?
Yeah, I do. If she didn't think of us as friends, I don't think she could have ever opened up to us like that. You were a good friend to her before, and you'll be an even better one now.
Yeah, I really hope so. I want to be the best I can for her. When you think about it, we were all alone in our own way. But over time, we've all found ways to let each other into our lives. I hope Shion's able to do that one day too. No, I mean, I hope she's able to do that more. Lots and lots more. I think it'd be really nice if we could all just be there to support each other when it really counts. And forget about our grudges and pain.
Rinwell.
Yay, sie sind fertig. Noch nicht ganz.
Did you know?
You mean about Shion?
Yeah, I didn't have the slightest idea. I mean, every once in a while I thought something seemed a little off, but I never could have imagined. It's like a completely different world was spinning around me and I couldn't even see it.
You and me both. I mean, I knew something was bothering her, but I could never quite figure out what it was.
You? But you're the one always looking out for her, aren't you?
That's what I thought. But in reality, I didn't understand it all. What I thought was helping and being there for her was actually just driving her into a corner.
At least you figured it out in time, though, right?
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But yeah, you're right. We brought her back from the edge, and we're going to stop those thorns from taking her, no matter what.
Yeah, with all of us together, there's nothing we can't handle. Shion, the world, we can save everyone. And I mean it when I say we, Alphen.
I know. No lone wolfing it.
Hey, you're the expert on what my dad would say. Do you think he'd pat me on the back or tell me off?
Zephyr, I don't think that he'd have that much to say, to be honest. You're your own man now, Law.
Ein Wunder.
You've already made up your own mind about what you want.
I guess he couldn't say anything even if he wanted to.
Law.
Sorry. I guess those of us amongst the living have enough problems to deal with, don't we? We'll need all our strength to save Shion. I'll probably end up worrying
Du
again at
hörst
some
nichts,
point. I
Aviarius.
guess I'll think it over more then.
Also ne,
That
das
okay?
war auf die Frage.
Yeah, I think it is.
Ui. Oh. So, ich hoffe, das letzte Gespräch fürs erste. Das war dann wieder eine sehr, sehr lange
You
Cutscene.
doing all right?
I seem to cause nothing but worry. As much as I try to look like I have things under control, everyone still worries about me.
You're not the only one.
Hey, do you remember the first time you said I was your friend?
Ja, ich war gerade verwirrt von der...
No.
Ich habe
When
ganz
was that?
vergessen, dass ich die Frage
Sorry, I
gestellt
can't
habe, ob man den
remember.
Lüfter hört.
That's okay. It came so naturally to you, I'm not surprised you
Na,
forgot.
die ist mal wieder verwirrt. Komplett verpeilt.
I was different back then. The Danans were not even people to
Weiß
me.
nicht, ich mag das
And I
Kleid
knew
irgendwie.
I would always be alone. But in that room with Deadheim, when you called me your friend, it just
Es ist
shattered the
irgendwie so
wall that I
schlicht,
built
aber
up
auch so
around me.
schön.
Because until that moment, I'd only seen you as a means to an end. I thought of you as a way to use the blazing sword, and to obtain the Renis Alma. But after that day, one time became two. And before I knew it, you'd made a habit of calling me and Dohalim your friends. It didn't matter that we were Renans. You cared about us as you would any other people. Then, everyone else started to call me their friend too. To think of me as their friend. Before then, I never even dreamed I could have that. I didn't want to die and lose you all. But I also didn't want to live if it meant you would all die in my place.
Shion.
But then, I realized... I'd only really been thinking of myself that entire time. After saying how I felt, and hearing what you all had to say, I finally understood that. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not planning on dying anymore.
Gut.
I've met too many people along the way who I truly care about to give in now. So I'll fight. For Dana and for myself. I'll fight against my fate to preserve our future. And I'll win, come hell or high water. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I won't let the world end because of me.
It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, Shion. Our fight won't be over until everyone,
Ach
both
ja, die
Danans and
Flügel.
Renans, can finally live in peace. But I swear I'll be there with you until the very end.
Thank you.
Remember what we learned back
Ich
in
dachte gerade, um
Galadia?
Gottes Willen, was war
There's
das?
no wall so high that we can't break it down.
Yeah. I think you may be right about that.
Ach ja. Yay, wir sind wieder eine Gruppe.
Everyone well rested? Then let's go. We depart for Lenegis.
Okay, mein HP ist aufgefüllt. Hier gibt es einen Schnellreisepunkt, hier gibt es einen Händler. Hier geht's weiter. Nö, das Vieh macht Aua. Die will irgendein Buch, was ich nicht habe. Und ansonsten habe ich aktuell nichts. Okay. Doch, ich würde gern bei einer Sache nachgucken. Was hier? Ja. Darf ich jetzt den Stein zerbrechen? Bin ich jetzt
Looks
angeblich
like we
stark
made it here
genug?
in one piece.
Schnief. Schniefnase. In dem flachen Wasser ist ein Karpfen. Na lecker. Ihr wollt kämpfen? Gerne doch.
An opponent like this should be easy. Not a chance.
Der Kampf ist so schnell.
This could be useful.
Nö. Computer sagt immer noch nein. Schade. Dann wollen wir mal auf das Traumschiff. Ah nein. Raumschiff. Hier ist voll schön. Oh, Abflug. Bin gespannt, wann wir den Stein da zerbrechen dürfen. Schick.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that. You're going to jinx us.
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I
Ja,
was thinking something
ist eine
like...
Idee.
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
Ooh.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Ja.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... Well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Oh, nice. Geil.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good? All right, then let's go.
Oh, ich weiß nicht, irgendwie. Wann habt ihr das Unkraut entfernt und das Raumschiff geputzt? Wir kämpfen mit Schwertern, mit Magie, mit Schusswaffen. Es gibt keine Computer, kein gar nichts, aber es gibt Raumschiffe.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Na,
Nothing like realizing how small
So.
you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your
Cutscenes
time
sind
than napping.
toll.
We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Die Gruppe hat sich mal wieder
Everything okay,
aufgelöst.
Shion? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at all.
Wer ist ganz
You seem
hinten?
more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you.
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Glad to hear it. That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't
Ooh.
say. Well, that should definitely come in handy if any of us get
Erinnern
injured while we're
voll.
down there.
Fallout.
Alphen? Was it something I
Fallout?
said?
No, I
Yeah.
was just thinking back to when I escaped Lennigus, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess. Naori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that mean you were inside for 300 years?
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
Oh, so
What
ein
do you
langes
mean?
Nickerchen könnte ich auch
With the amount
gebrauchen.
of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but... Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About the dream of coexistence and needing to learn what it entailed?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to fulfill my brother's wishes. I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now, and those still to come. The world's bigger than just Menancia. My dream is for all Danans, wherever they might be, to be free. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen. I'll forever be grateful to you.
Well, we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
I know.
Oh.
But whatever we find when we get down there, I'm through looking the other way.
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh? Let's take things one step at a time.
So. Hier was. Gutmäßiges. Bin mir nicht danach aus. Gut, es ist ein Doppelgespräch.
Hey, Alphen, listen to this! So Law and I were just talking and...
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law all flustered?
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, you know, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renan technology. It got me to Dana in one piece, remember?
Irgendwie ja
that's
süß.
a good point. If you think so, Alphen, it must be okay. Don't you agree, Law?
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alphen. It's just wrong, okay?
Hab. Oh, ich glaube, wir gehen aufs Ende zu.
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lennigus? I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me, though, you too have a history with Lennigus. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship.
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life, for as long as I can remember. They called it treatment, but in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Shion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now I see it. The true nature of our struggle.
Ooh.
A victory without losers.
Wow.
But that means that a Danon victory over Rena
Und
can't be
ordentlich
the
Punkt
end.
Aviarius.
Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off.
65% haben wir schon.
It's
Nice.
the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can do this. Together.
Is everyone about ready?
Ein bisschen,
We'll soon be
ja.
making preparations to land.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dana. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own independent society. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Uff.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dana even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renan ladder is considered superior to being a Danan. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you, Shion?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Lost blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst.
Also wir müssen
As
jetzt
if such
echt im Ende
simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this
dem
red
richtigen
woman,
Finale
are we
nähern.
expecting to
Denn
find her on Lenegus?
I would wager so.
also,
Lenegus is too
das ist
deeply
ja nicht
involved
mehr
in all this
feierlich,
to
wie viel
discard the
Text wir jetzt
possibility.
so innerhalb von
Chances are
kürzester
she's
Zeit
also
hatten.
connected to the Renis Alma being stolen from
Gruppe
us
löst
in
sich auf,
Legion.
Gruppe ist wieder zusammen,
If the
Gruppe
Renaissance
löst sich
Alma is
auf.
being used to
Cutscene.
exploit Dana, we need to take it back at all costs.
That red woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them.
Oh, schön. Wir haben es geschafft. Denke ich. Hoffe ich. Oh. Wie
There's
kein
no one
roter
here.
Teppich,
I
kein
wasn't expecting to welcome
Empfangskomitee.
that, but still.
Lenegus's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
Ja.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
Oh.
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Danke,
Forbidden?
dir einen
What
schönen
are they
Tag
hiding?
wünsche ich und deiner Frau.
I don't know, hence my desire to
Danke,
find
dass du
out.
dabei warst.
Fortunately, we just so happen to have a sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegus would have required an immense source of power.
Die
Then
ganzen
you think that
Cutscenes
source
machen mich
might have been the
müde.
Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman.
Ja.
Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone.
Ah, auf geht's.
Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renans. The capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less.
Thinking about
Ach.
what could be lurking out.
Was das?
Oh,
Ah, das skippen wir mal schnell.
So how...
I couldn't.
There's Zugel's out.
War nämlich die falsche Taste. Okay. Da ist nix. Bin so gespannt, was uns hier erwartet. Okay. Was ist hier passiert? Lenegis. Oh mein Gott.
What in the world?
this being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Oh.
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
Gute Frage,
I'm
ja.
really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
Warum Do am Ende? Bin gespannt.
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Whoa. Oh. Arme Kinder.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lenegis mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Schön. Da ist eine Sackgasse. Was macht der da unten? Wasser zaubern und löschen. Okay. Erdbeere mit Apfelsymbol. Ich meine, ich kenne solche meine Erdbeeren auch immer mit einem Apfel, also. Warum nicht? Ein Erdapfel. Ach nein, warte. Das war was anderes.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Das war was anderes.
Your lordship. Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Ja, da alle weiß
Yeah.
anhaben.
What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time.
Also, sie ist nicht bekannt. Hier ein Gespräch noch. Gut. Auf geht's.
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh,
yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route. I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
Einen schönen guten Abend,
I
Banane.
suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it.
Die Ferien sind
I
rum.
thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me? A
Die
lord
Ferien sind
troubling
wieder
himself
rum.
for someone of my
Oder haben sie
lowly
noch gar nicht
status?
angefangen? Aber also bei uns in Bayern zumindest waren die Ferien immer
We are both
über
Renan, first
Halloween
and foremost.
oder vor oder nach Halloween. Ich weiß
Why,
es gar
yes,
nicht
my
mehr.
lord. Thank you.
Okay. Meine Schulzeit ist ja auch schon wieder einiges
Well,
her.
we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city
Ja.
after all. They haven't heard the
Eine
news
Woche
about the
ist
crown
Standard.
contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Das ist ein creepy Hudel auf dem Kopf.
That one guy even said his Zoogle would stop listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been
Gut,
conditioned.
bis gleich.
Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
Ooh.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign, though it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danon. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that two sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me.
Questions.
Das Ergebnis ist richtig, aber der Weg ist falsch.
Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can
Minuspunkt.
establish the
Oder
sovereign's
steht überhaupt
identity.
kein Weg da, weil du es mit
If the
Taschenrechnern
Forbidden
gemacht
Zone
hast.
really is off limits to everyone but
Ich
the
kenn's.
Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city.
Aber Mathe habe ich
It could
gemocht.
point us in the right direction. Let's go find it.
Oh Gott. Also ich merke, es geht dem Ende zu. Einfach aus dem Grund. Es wird andauernd gequasselt.
With nobody left to run the show.
Dann hängt
I
das
wonder
doch
what the
an
people
die
here are
andere
supposed to do.
Cutscene.
I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renin homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renin society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegus now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renins in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lennox. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Ah. Okay, das ist... Das ist doof. Ja, das ist schwierig. Halt hier hin. Meistens.
Yeah.
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
Oh, das ist ärgerlich. Ich skippe das jetzt mal. Ich meine, irgendwo müssen sie die Story in dem Game reinpacken, aber dass das immer alles bald am Ende kommen muss.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than
Oh.
at first glance.
I shall refrain from
Das ist krass.
commenting.
What?
KV,
Ganabelt was so
der
horrible to
KV
people,
nochmal.
yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter. I
Schule
admit.
ist bei mir schon so lange her und ich glaube, die Dinge hatten damals andere Bezeichnungen.
Sovereign. They're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Annabelle
Lass
also
mir gerne auf die Sprünge helfen, was KV ist.
Why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
Ich fühle mich gerade echt blöd. Kunstvertretung.
This area doesn't
Aber
look
ich
as
glaube
damaged
nicht, dass
as the
das
other
stimmt.
districts.
Pardon me.
Ah, okay. Klassenvorstand ist. Sie hört sich bei uns nach einem
Her
Klassensprecher an.
willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here
Wenn
not
du
only
mich
shared
jetzt
her
fragst.
beliefs, but championed it as morally right too.
Ah, das war nie ein
Doesn't make
Lehrer.
it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Okay. Ja, aber mit dem Melden ist, sag mal doof. Auch wenn du eine falsche Antwort sagst.
Ridiculous.
Was für ein Geräusch.
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Harros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary, remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
Yay.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Ah,
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person.
der
And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's
Klassenlehrer.
something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
der Ansprechpartner
And I'm going to keep
ist,
doing my
der
best
mit
to make
auf
sure I earn
Klassenfahrt
that
auf jeden
trust.
Fall geht.
As a fellow human being above all else.
Hat man den... Genau. Hat meistens Mathe, Deutsch, vielleicht Englisch. Und wie die Fächer noch so heißen. Sport meistens nicht. Dort sind irgendwie meistens immer eigene Lehrer. Das war der ja. Das ist krass. Also will ich mir gar nicht vorstellen, in der Situation zu sein.
What could this be?
Traubengelee. Was macht Traubengelee? Leben.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfried Milgras, the former lord of Cislodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfried whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegus?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegus from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly,
Banane, welche Klasse seid ihr denn? Beziehungsweise, wie ist es allgemein in Wien?
Though we are Renin by blood, neither
Bis
of
zu
us
welcher
even
Klasse
knew
geht
that
es
such a
denn noch?
thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Ich meine, ich kenne jetzt nur das deutsche Schulsystem. Und Selbstständigkeit ist immer gut.
Doe?
Braucht ihr später ungemein.
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still... kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Ooh.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Was passiert jetzt mit ihr? Das war die rote Dame.
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Darf ich jetzt spielen? Danke. Also 1. bis 4. Grundschule, das ist bei uns ja auch. Wir haben dann 5. bis 9. ist Hauptschule. Und ich glaube, Realschule und Gymnasium gehen Minimum 1 bis 2 Jahre länger. Und du bist bei uns 10 Jahre schulpflichtig. Bedeutet, in den meisten Fällen, wenn du zum Beispiel eine Hauptschule hast und keine Ausbildung im Nachhinein hast, kommst du in ein Förderprogramm, um einen Ausbildungsplatz zu suchen, beziehungsweise dass du danach nicht mehr schulpflichtig bist. Oder um deinen Abschluss nachzuholen. Sind dann aber, glaube ich, ein paar verschiedene Klassen dann. Ja. Ein Jahr Poli, ich weiß nicht, was Poli ist. Oder 4 Jahre weiter Schule. Ja, ich kann mir gut vorstellen. Also so viel anders zu unserem Schulsystem ist es ja nicht. Nur ist unseres ein Stückchen länger. Oh, wo sind wir hier? Was ist denn Polytechnische Schule? Hört sich ja fast so an wie soziales Jahr. Also bei uns wirst du in die Berufsschule geschmissen. Nenn ich's mal. Liebevoll. Ja, okay, dann ist es wie bei uns. Diese Auffangklasse. Dass du deine Schulpflicht hinter dich bringst und möglichst einen Beruf findest mit Bewerbung schreiben und hast du nicht gesehen. Oder wenn du halt den Abschluss nicht geschafft hast, um den Abschluss nochmal nachzuholen. 2-mal Tofu. Oh. Okay, wir können aber teleportieren. Das ist sehr gut. Muss ich nur noch einen Ort finden. An dem ich mich wieder zurück teleportieren kann. Du 8 Jahre hast, musst du Poli gehen, wenn das.
Are you just going to keep...
Okay, nice.
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renin sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music.
Okay.
Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
Und die spielen alle Geige. Oder Violine.
A friendship based on mutual
Ein
respect.
wunderschönes Instrument,
And a
aber
society where everyone is a prisoner
wenn die
to
nicht
their social
unterschiedlich
class.
spielen.
You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from
Die
society's
Realschule
constraints
ist so
and
ein
choosing your
Zwischending
friends
bei
based
uns
solely on
zwischen
affection
Hauptschule
is something
und
beautiful that's worth
Gymnasium.
cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor.
Ah,
I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord.
ich weiß jetzt nicht, auf welche Schule du gehst, aber fühlst du dich über- oder
He aimed to
unterfordert?
wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait. Don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less, she would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Sag mal so, Mathe ist, entweder du hast es verstanden oder du hast es nicht verstanden. Mathe musst du verinnerlichen.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Nicht nur
Yeah,
stumpf
I
die
think
Formel
so.
auswendig lernen.
He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right.
Punkte Deutsch brauchst du mir nichts sagen. Ich bin Legastheniker, ich sehe da keinen Unterschied. Und ich schreibe generell alles klein.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep
Oder
going
groß.
more times
Je
than
nachdem, wie
I
ich gerade lustig bin.
I still wanted to say thank you.
Oh, neue Rüstung, aber ich kann mir nicht alle leisten. Kein Problem. Du kriegst das an. Wir verkaufen das Goldstück. Da fehlt mir Material da auch. Oh, sie kriegt endlich mal ein besseres Buch. Das ist aber ich sag mal so, deine alten Lehrer wussten auch, wer ist gut hier, wer ist gut da. Da können sie besser auf den einen oder anderen eingehen, was die neuen Lehrer jetzt erst lernen müssen.
I see him.
So. Hier, glaube ich. Wir haben den Tofu. Weiß, weich und flauschig.
If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Oder wie war die Beschreibung? Also entweder ist das ein absoluter Übersetzungsfehler. Ich hoffe, das... Nein. 2 von weiße, weiche und flauschige Objekte. Seit wann ist Tofu flauschig? Seit wann ist Tofu flauschig? Wenn Tofu flauschig ist, will ich es nicht mehr essen.
Just
Great!
Okay. Aber meistens so. Mambo Curry. Nice.
Finn, she owns stuffing bread with marble curry.
now I can eat this every day.
Jeez, Sheila, you're hooked on that stuff.
Ja, das ist klar. Zack. Also ich glaube, die letzten Male kamen jetzt keine Rudels mehr.
We've reached our destination.
Rasten. Erhöht Angriff S. Darf er mal
This is
kochen.
perfect. I'll have everybody's mouths watering when they see this.
Ja. Schwierig. Also der Beruf Lehrer, den würde ich nicht gerne ausüben.
Damn it. Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them.
Indem ich außen
Whatever
rumlaufe.
happens, be ready.
Die haben aber
So much
komische...
for them not wanting to fight.
I am Lord Dohalim of Helden Menencia. I command you.
Threats to the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they
Zack.
Dragon Swarm!
Boah.
Vacuum Blade!
Schnell Angriff.
Scarlet Inferno!
That's my cue.
shut him down.
So, Mamas Schild hier kaputt. Ich glaube, das erkennt das Programm auch als keinen Link. Oder ja. Ja, das ist manchmal...
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah.
They weren't in the league.
Indeed. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been high on threats. A
Aber
few
vielleicht lernt ihr
frenzied
gerade bei
Zugals
denen
during
viel.
experiments here and there.
Also,
Not much else.
strenge Lehrer sind
Their
meistens
glazed
gute
over
Lehrer,
eyes
auch wenn man das als
reminded me
Schüler
of
nicht
the
einsehen
soldiers
will.
and slaves we met back in Ganath Harros. The ones in blind devotion to Voron.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here. And the soldiers are their way of
Ja,
letting
wenn
us
ihr
know.
bis jetzt, ich sag mal, von euren Lehrern verhätschelt worden seid, ist nicht böse gemeint,
You're starting to develop quite the growing list of
dann
adversaries.
werdet ihr es
At
später
least
nicht
we'll know to
leicht
keep our
haben.
wits about us.
Gibt die lustigsten Dinger. Warum nicht? Ich meine, wenn du kein Blut sehen kannst, ist doch die natürliche Reaktion, du willst Chirurg werden. Och nein. Seht auf der anderen Seite, was mir nicht gefällt wird. Okay. Doch gut. Warum sind die denn hier so grün?
Let's dispose of the trash. These ones can run rings around us.
Den hier treffe ich nicht. Mach mal so.
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Wenn wir eine Sache brauchen. Tieren und
If it's in the sky, it's mine. Dragon Swarm! I'll heal you all!
ja. Die haben halt große Ziele.
A wailing dancing lightning!
Vacuum Blade! My turn!
Not in your dreams!
I'm not done!
Mega ray!
Dragon Swarm!
Der ist so.
Vacuum Blade!
Illuminate the dark!
Dazzle! Hits on!
Glimmer!
Soaring Light Spear!
Lunar Preceptor!
Come on!
A wailing
Zack.
mega ray!
You're mine!
Downfall! Now!
Dragon Swarm!
Träumen darf man doch immer noch.
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Illuminate the dark!
Here I come!
Lightning!
So. Am Samstag, im Übrigen, am Samstag gibt's Animal Crossing, das neue DLC. Kann ich einfach vorbeischleichen? Danke. Ich darf jetzt nicht zurückrennen in das andere Vieh rein. Lasst mich raus. So. Kümmern wir uns mal um den. So. Der liegt ja immer noch. Du, das lässt sich mit einer Brille oder Kontaktlinsen beheben. Und wenn er möchte, oder wenn die möchten und sich am Riemen reißen, können sie das womöglich auch noch schaffen. Ja, dann hat er vielleicht nur die falsche Stärke. Ich meine, ich habe selbst gesehen, ich bin in der Schule erst im letzten Jahr, ich nenne es mal liebevoll, aufgewacht. Von der ich habe keinen Bock auf Schule Phase. Level 44. Von daher kann ich das sehr gut nachvollziehen. Ich muss jetzt erstmal gucken, dass ich mein Geld für meine Brille zusammenbekomme. Allein die Gläser kosten 240. Nur die Gläser. So. Und das ist halt auch schon ein ganzes Stück. Ach komm, lass mal meine Kollegen mit drauf böllern. Ich hasse diese Gottesanbeter in dem Game. Ui. Es hat so viel Leben. Finde ich. Oh. Ich bin gerade am Überlegen. Wo ist das Vieh hin? Da. Hauen wir ein bisschen aufs Bein ein. Zack. 7. Die Uhr richtig auf meinem... Ja. Auf meinem Monitor ist die Uhr richtig. Sehr schön. War kurz verwirrt. für irgendwas mit Erdbeeren. Glaube ich.
Let's dispose of the trash.
Now you'll learn!
Bring you down. Going in. Going in. Hurricane. So much for talking it out.
Autsch.
Confiscated. Back into the fray. Going in. I'll heal you all.
Coming through!
So.
Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Das ist meistens in der Gruppe. Also wenn du in der Gruppe bist, benimmst du dich ganz anders, als wenn du alleine bist.
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
So. Oh nein, nächster
Soldiers
Gegner,
don't seem
nächster
to have any
Gegner.
qualms about attacking.
Oh Gott, jetzt muss ich ja noch schon wieder gegen so ein Vieh, so eine Gottesanbeterin.
Healing circle. Thanks so much. Radiant slide. Here.
Try harder! My turn! Time to cross blades! Ignite!
Far enough.
Take this!
Hurricane slide.
Oh, das war scheinbar der richtige Moment.
See what I can do! No further!
This one's mine. I don't have much left.
Dragon Swarm!
Heal you all. Fire's attached to torture
There.
your blade. Healing circle field.
Vacuum blade!
So,
There! Coming through!
Attacke.
Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Tempest.
Ja, okay, das ist selten dämlich. Ich meine, wenn ich mich nicht benehme, kann ich nicht erwarten, dass Ausflüge gemacht werden. Also,
Now you've gone and ticked me off.
Vacuum blade! In a bind?
so.
Take this! Try harder!
I'll take you
Oh je.
all on.
Okay, das ist ärgerlich. Das ist echt ärgerlich.
Vacuum blade! You picked the wrong fight!
Oh, es liegt wieder. Bin down. Ich kann aber mal Orangengelee benutzen. Kann ich hier vielleicht fallen. Oder auch nicht. Danke. Kisara!
Stay away from my friend!
Don't get in my way! Now! This ends
So,
now!
Consider yourself finished!
wir haben gewonnen. Komm, Bonus FP.
I feel the power flowing through me.
You'll be able to help even more people now.
Yeah,
Oh, wee.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
A whirling struggle. They really don't give up, do they? Appreciate the help. Appreciate the help. Going in.
It's over!
Ouch.
Time to let it rip!
I can't heal you forever.
Vacuum blade! Dragon Swarm!
This one's
Coming through!
Wen erwischt's? Och nee, oder? Also, zumindest vor dem Lehrer sollte man Respekt haben. Kann ich nicht nachvollziehen. Oha! Krass. Also so Verhalten kann ich nicht nachvollziehen.
I need to be stronger.
So, überhaupt nicht. Gegner, Gegner, Gegner.
Out of our way!
You picked the
Where are
wrong
you
fight.
going? Not on my watch!
Here I come.
This one's illuminate the dark!
Vacuum blade.
Quit trying to keep up with the wall! Only land by the chain between heaven and earth! Fires of passion course in the sky!
Oh, Gelee benutzen.
Can't end here.
Don't give up! Course in the sky! Appreciate the help. Bring you back.
Oh mein Gott.
Hurricane strike! I'll bring you back on darkness! Hurricane resuscitation! Look sharp!
Not done yet.
Ich hoffe, er musste den Schaden bezahlen, beziehungsweise die Versicherung. Und er hat dafür ordentlich Ärger bekommen.
Now you've gone and ticked me off.
Aber das geht gar nicht. Aber wenigstens etwas.
I'll take you all on.
Weil das ist... Wenn es ein neueres Auto war oder frisch gekauft oder wie auch immer, es ist immer ärgerlich. Zumal wenn die Kratzer tief sind, geht das bis runter aufs Blech und dann rostet das Auto von innen. Und das kann echt gefährlich werden. Krass. Also, für mich nicht nachvollziehbar, warum man sowas macht. Aber gut. So. Meine ist down. Sehr schön.
I'm pretty worn out.
Want to rest up for a bit?
Zack. 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 Lauf, Shion! Okay. Mein Boost kann ich vergessen. Kann ich sowas von vergessen? Schade. Gehen auch noch 2 Wege. Dann muss ich eh kämpfen. Objekte. Ananas-Gelee.
I don't even know the word defeat.
Ja. Ja klar, da wird gleich die ganze Klasse bestraft. Also, Bei uns war das so, wenn gewusst, da wusste man, wer der, ich sag mal, der Übeltäter ist. Der immer Scheibenkleister baut. Und die sind dann halt einfach nicht mitgefahren. Auf Klassenausflug. So war das bei uns. Zack. Oh Gott. Komm, geh drauf. Du Rüstung, du Wandelnde. Wo ist der da? Immer nur einer. Ja, okay, das ist selten dämlich. Also normalerweise sollte man aus seinen Fehlern lernen. Wir haben den Weg hier durchgepackt. Es ist immer Ausnahme ich und Verwandte. Aber ja, ich weiß, was du meinst.
The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was sovereigns only.
Alvin.
Ich habe eine Vermutung. Dann benutzt mal eure Kraft, meine zwei Lieben. Öffnet sich die Wand? Oh. Okay, es geht einfach eine Tür. Da kommt einfach eine Tür raus.
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
Mein Gott.
What?
What the?
Was ist jetzt los? Das Alphen?
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Danon. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for. Let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. we wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
Unser K?
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
Also mit
It was
bisschen kürzeren
Naori.
Haaren.
Naori Imaris. Isn't that right?
Verständlich, dass
Yeah, that's
euer
right.
Klassenlehrer von euch
She really
genervt ist.
does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Danon astral energy
Irgendwie
rushing
traurig.
over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegus. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw? But how? And why?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion, you okay?
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now that we're here, it seems those same Renans might have it just as bad. I'd like to liberate them too if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from the truth.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Your indignation and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Auf geht's!
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
Ich sehe da was mir nicht gefällt. Speichern. Objekte, nein. Hier. Guck mal hier. Das Laden von Flammenschwert. Ja, warum nicht? Bis 50 Angriff. Ermöglicht es, die flammende Schneide zu laden für mehr zugefügten Schaden bei höherer KP-Verbrauch. Denn das. Okay. Menge KP durch... Oh ja. Wieso habe ich das nicht vorher gelernt? Ich glaube, weil es so teuer war. Abwehr. Mal hier. Verringerung. Schaden. Dauer von Überlimit. Menge des zugefügten Schadens bei Drachen. Komm, lernen wir das. Ob es uns letztlich was bringt oder nicht, ich weiß es nicht. Ich weiß auch nicht, ob wir gegen den Drachen kämpfen oder nicht. So. Strategie. 1, 2, 3. So. Auf geht's. Gehalt. Ich bin gespannt, was uns hier erwartet. Ah. Ui. Jetzt los.
Faria, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
Yep.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
Was zum Geier ist das denn?
A summoning?
But that's preposterous. She never had that kind of power when...
We can talk later. Here it comes!
What? I've never known Faria to control noodles like that before.
How about with a stone that looks suspiciously like a master sword? Where did she get her hands on that?
First we handle the noodles, then we get some enemies.
That'll bring you down.
You're finished!
Justice! Far enough! I'll heal you all!
Charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Whoa.
Hear my call! Spread! Going in!
Warte mal, habe ich nicht irgendwas mit Feuer gelernt? Erde. Okay. Bell. Warte. Ah, okay. Kann ich mal mehr nachgucken. Autsch, das Vieh macht Schaden. Ist vergiftet. Shion. Wie wär's mal mit Wiederbeleben? Geht doch. Gebrochen. Ja. So. Was ist Standard? Ich hab nicht aufgepasst vom Text her. Halbzeit! Ja klar. Jouch. Zieh durch, Shion. Das Vieh hat mich gewonnen, hittet. So, gebrochen. Hui, ausweichen. Hui. Das für das andere Vieh wäre. Danke. Shion,
Burning. In here.
belebt mich.
I'll be saving this one. Resuscitation.
Danke.
Shield. Light after healer. Prepare. Time to stop. Pull myself together. Radiant here. I can handle it. Do it.
So.
Phoenix Cyclone.
Also so schwer war der jetzt nicht. Es war eher Unglück, dass er mich gekillt hat.
Now it's just her! Faria, can you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning.
The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more.
Forgive me.
Oh, er hat sie ausgenockt. Ich hätte aber noch gerne weiter gegen fast unbesiegbare Gegner gekämpft.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her.
Good.
I meant you.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case,
I'll take her off your hands.
You?
Avakir, what are you doing here?
Gute
I was
Frage.
curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnigan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're up to. But whatever it is, I hope it all works out.
Oh.
Thank you.
Sehr schön.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, he was always hanging back, worrying about everyone else. As for Faria, it's always the closest to me who get hurt.
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her, do you?
Somebody got to her, to strike back at me. Someone who knew me well enough to know that I'd hesitate to fight back. And
Ach
the
nee.
same goes for you as well. Neither you nor Faria would have lost loved ones if it wasn't for me.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother, under orders from Almadria. As for Tarnigan, if it weren't for the crown contest, he'd still be alive. That and the whole damn hierarchy that makes it possible. But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole messed up system that treats people as expendable.
Indeed. Ridding society of this blight is really the only way I know how to atone for my sins.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. No amount of soul-searching or trying to make amends is going to change that. Forgiveness, acceptance, those ships have sailed.
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never forget. You keep it in your heart always. And then you go on living. Not for those already past, but for those still alive.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can make a difference in the lives of others. Lives being the operative word.
That's what living's all about. Being able to still make a difference. Punishing yourself for the past won't make the pain of your conscience go away.
Only fixing the problem in its stead. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. You have to live for tomorrow, Dohalim, not for yesterday. And not only that, you need to live for yourself, and for the change that you still can be.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve. The Forbidden Zone, remember?
Shion,
Huh?
thank you. You have my deepest gratitude for what you did for Faria.
Glad to be of service.
I'm
Oh,
glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much for her as
dürfte
well.
ich mich bitte irgendwo hochheilen?
I'm most grateful.
Speichern. Ich möchte nicht den Kampf nochmal machen unbedingt.
Oh, shucks. We're on the same team, right?
Da geht's runter und dann muss ich da
Let's
lang.
move on.
Das ist manchmal echt verwirrend hier.
What is it, Rinwell? Do you hear something again?
Yeah,
Bin gespannt.
it's that voice.
The will of Dana's astral energy.
Eine weitere Hallo. Aus unserer Vergangenheit. Oh Gott, was ist hier los? Das war vom Ritual, glaube ich. Ja. Schön.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
Also, der Ort allein sieht schon gruselig aus. Oh. Ah! Was war das? Oh mein Gott. Was geht hier ab? Hä?
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
What the hell was
Ich
that?
hab keine
It felt
Ahnung.
like everything was on the brink of... Like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it.
Welche Nachricht kam denn
The end of
von
time.
Nane?
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw.
Ich glaube,
Those were
mit
Leori's
2
memories,
H.
right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into
Guck
her.
mal gucken.
It reminds me of
Irgendwie
Shion's thorn.
komisch.
If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of,
Ach,
it must be dark astral energy,
wegen dem
right?
Doppel-H.
And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a
Gab da
feeling,
mal so
just
jemanden
like
mit,
the will of Dana.
mit H am Anfang und H im
The will
Nachnamen,
of
der
Dana
nichts
is made
Gutes
up of
gemacht
astral
hat.
energy too, right? And if that's what's been showing us these visions, I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dana's will would never want oblivion.
But you can't say that for sure.
Cut it out, you two.
Aber ich dachte
Squabbling
nicht, dass
over
es das
theories
auch
will get us nowhere.
auf das auswirkt.
Let's keep moving. If
Deswegen,
it's Dana's will showing us
ich
these
hab's jetzt mal
memories, and I'm
rausgenommen,
as clueless about its motives as any one of
weil
us.
wir einfach nur
But
den
if it
Haken
could lead us to the
rausnehmen
truth,
müssen.
then I want to find out more.
Aber gut.
Shion's right. All we can do is keep going. If these really are Naori's memories we're watching, there could be truths in them I was never aware of. And I think they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
Finally, we begin to understand what the thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3
Also
centuries
entweder
ago.
hattet ihr das in
We still
Geschichte
don't
noch
know how to
nicht,
get rid of them. I just hope we can find a way.
oder du denkst gerade an jemand komplett anderen.
Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorns, as well as my own past. I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens. I'm
Auf geht's.
determined to save Shion and Dana. Nothing I learn can
Ja.
change that.
Da hätte er gar nicht am Anfang ein Haar. Nee, aber der besagte Gruß geht so. Speicher mal eins drunter. Und ich hatte erst vor kurzem noch ein... Was heißt vor kurzem? Das dürfte jetzt auch schon wieder knapp einen Monat her sein. Ich nenne es mal ein Kleinkind, das sich daraus einen Spaß gemacht hat, dass ich an dem Tag 12 Mal gebannt habe aus meinem Chat.
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out.
Ich denke mal, deswegen ist es noch drin gewesen.
This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this
Ja.
point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
Das sind dicke Kabel. Das sind richtig dicke Kabel. Also hier ist schon mal kein Loot. Macht mich traurig. Funktioniert dieses Kisten-Computer-Ding?
I think I can make this work.
Holy. Also ich kann mal nichts davon lesen.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Danon astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure, Taking the form of a Danon. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign.
Oder Alphen.
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Course.
Mhm.
With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title, Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Oh my Gott.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Oh mein Gott.
Alphen.
Bin schockiert.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
Es ist kein Rückblick. Wir haben Daten gefunden und herausgefunden, dass Alphen, also unser Hauptcharakter, modifiziert wurde, um ein Herrscher zu sein. Und Valoran, also der 5. Lord, auch modifiziert wurde, um ein Herrscher zu
Sovereign shall
sein.
return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their
Das
posts
Gespräch,
and live
ja.
out the rest of their days on
Ansonsten
Rena.
hat man keinen
So we
Rückblick
were told.
aktuell.
But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the sovereign, then who was it?
Gute
Crown
Frage.
contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
Ah! Einen
It's
Rückblick
possible.
hatten wir doch noch, und zwar
But
von
that
der
doesn't
Zeremonie.
necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Ist aber jetzt
Either
schwer zu
way.
erklären.
It's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see.
Die Daten sind
Just file
300
upon
Jahre
file of
alt.
experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can while we're here.
I'll do that.
Also erinnern können sie sich alle an diese
So this is where Alphen became the sovereign, and Volron is...
Wähle ein Thema. Lords bereit zum...
Wow. The significant...
Einmal durchgeskippt.
Significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them.
Zack.
Might contain valuable information.
Informationen. Gut. Ach so, weil ich da zu den Pflanzen kann. Aber interagieren kann ich mit den Pflanzen nicht. Oh mein Gott. Das ist ja... Holy shit. Du siehst viele Zahlen. Fallen aus über die Abgleich zwischen. Okay. Gehen wir noch hier drüben rein. Yes, eine Kiste. Tränke des Lebens. Okay. Nächste Erinnerung.
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
Naori...
Holy shit.
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lennigus will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance,
Oh mein Gott.
I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen.
Holy shit.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegus.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegus crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that.
Also. Oh Gott. Mein Leben anguckt, ist das ein Trauerspiel. Wie soll ich sagen? Unsere Mission ist es,
Made me Iron Mask.
den,
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart.
den verbundenen Kern wiederzuholen und
She knew you might
Shions
lose your memories and sense
Dornung
of
zu
pain as a
besiegen.
result. But more than anything, she wanted
Die
you
du
to
gerade
survive.
gesehen hast, mit den,
And you did.
wo Shion sehr ähnlich sieht, ist, das ist vor 300 Jahren passiert. Und eine Vorfahrin von Shion, wie es scheint. Aber was jetzt genau hier noch kommen wird. Also diese Tore hier sehen echt seltsam aus. Ja. Und zwar unser Hauptcharakter. Ah. Eintreten.
This place.
Wegen dieser
We've
Maske
seen
und
this in one of
dem...
Naori's memories.
Of course.
Wegen dieser Heilstation. Weil seine Verletzungen schlimmer waren als gedacht.
After 300 years, this is where it was held. The spirit channeling ceremony. This is where the Renis Alma was.
So this is the place where you and Naori...
The Renis Alma isn't here now. Nor is the Red Woman, it seems.
I know it's difficult, Alphen, but there will be time to dwell on the past later. For now, we need to keep moving. Come on.
Was geht jetzt ab?
Naori.
What is this? Is it the work of Dana's will again?
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome.
Is this another memory? No, it's different this time. It's like she's speaking directly to us.
What we did back then. Not so much as a day passes when I don't think about it. About what was done to us. All in the name of a ceremony. The purpose of which we were never even told. As Sovereign, they linked Alphen's consciousness to Lenegus itself. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks. That day, as Maiden, my role was to temper his power. I was meant to guide it forth, and give shape to the strength inside of him.
Linked to Lenegis itself? But then, everything that's been happening...
But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. When I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash, I couldn't go through with it. But without a maiden, the ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. I did what I could. Using my abilities as the maiden, I tried to seal that power away inside of me. But it was too late. Lenegis had already been brought to its knees. Thousands upon thousands of lives so cruelly snuffed out.
Oh my god.
All because of me. Because of what I had done. With the destructive force now slumbering inside of me, I knew I had to find a way to dispose of it. Anything to make up for my failure. But I didn't know how. Especially since that power was astral energy itself. In which case, ironically enough, the Renis Alma seemed to be my best bet. That, at least, would hold the astral energy dormant. Assuming that no malevolent third party got to it first. With the Sovereign and Maiden's combined power, perhaps I could shift the chaotic energy inside me into the Renis Alma instead.
Oh nein.
That's what I hoped, but alas, it was not to be. The Renis Alma was lost, and Alphen the Sovereign was in a starship bound for Dana. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the Maiden, to buy the world what little time I could. The time needed for a new Renis Alma to be crafted, and for a new Sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse on to my descendants as well.
Oh my god.
Please, forgive me. I never meant to burden the future world with this threat too. I only wish that there was something more I could have done.
Wait, you can't just...
Oh mein Gott.
Naori.
That message just now, was it directly from Naori? Or was it the Danon voice speaking through her?
Was passiert jetzt? Oh, wir kriegen die tollen Outfits.
What?
These are the clothes that Naori and I wore during the ceremony 3 centuries ago.
So you're saying this is the Maiden's outfit?
That's right. These clothes are designed to resonate with the Sovereign and Maiden's abilities. They focus and enhance them.
And they appeared now because...
Naori must have left them here for the new Sovereign and Maiden, knowing the day would come when they would need them in their fight against the Thorns.
Ooh.
These outfits are directly linked to the answers we've been chasing this whole time. If they're here, it must mean it was Naori's will for us to find those answers as well.
Locating the Renis Alma would allow us to neutralize the dark astral energy inside Shion, thereby silencing her thorns. Is that what Naori's suggesting?
It makes sense. After all, Master Cores and Spirit Vessels are both able to prevent the astral energy inside them from developing sentience. By that logic, It would stand to reason that the Renis Alma would have the same ability on a larger scale.
We have a maiden in Sovereign. Now all we need is the Renis Alma, and we'll finally be able to free you of your thorns. Shion.
It's possible? You really think so?
I do. We can rid you of your thorns and stop the world from falling to oblivion.
However,
Nutzt euch.
the spirit channeling ceremony already failed once. Even if our goal is different this time, we can't be sure the same thing won't happen again. We should take care not to be too optimistic.
You're right. It's the barest sliver of a chance. But if there's even the slightest hope it can work, I'm willing to stake everything I've got on it.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in. It'd be strange if you weren't over the moon about it.
Rinwell's right. We can rid you of your curse and still save the world at the same time.
Thank you. Naori entrusted us with the fate of all humanity. Now, it's up to us to prove that trust was well placed.
Starting with a little game called Hunt the Renis Alma.
Yeah, we've come all this way. Now we just need to search Lenegis and Rena until we find it.
Yeah, we can protect the world and save Shion at the same time.
I too shall lend my services. My knowledge of Renan lore is bound to be a useful asset.
And they say modesty is dead.
Liebe ihr neues Outfit.
Miracles just seem to follow wherever you go, huh?
How do you know it's me they're following? We're all in this together, Shion. You included. Now let's get moving, shall we? Last I heard, we had an apocalypse to stop. Thank you, Naori.
Die Katze jetzt rum.
So Naori sealed away the power that made me lose control of myself. She stopped my rampage and saved my life. But then, that power she'd sealed away was passed down to you. I'm so sorry, Shion. It's my fault that you're cursed.
You're wrong. What happened to you was because of the ceremony, and Naori's attempt to stop Oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it, and then fell asleep for 300 years. The reason you lost your memories
is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can finally put an end to all this.
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing could be possible. No, the truth is, I think maybe I've always been dreaming about a life without my thorns. The touch of my family, or playing with my friends, holding hands with Rinwell, or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone. All the normal things that people do together. I always wished I could experience them for myself, and finally know what they were like. Is it really okay for me to believe it can happen? I'm so scared of getting my hopes up. What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
That's not going to happen. I'm here to make sure it won't. Forget fate or destiny or anything else. We're going to live a normal life. There are a lot of things you still want to do, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's such a strange feeling. I know that we've still got plenty of fighting up ahead, and it's for my sake, so I can live.
You're worth fighting for.
I believe you, Alphen.
Good. I'll keep on fighting. For as long as it takes. Until our future is finally in our hands.
Oh. Shion. Die letzte Jungfer. Okay, bei ihr fehlen uns nur noch 2. Bei ihm fehlen uns ein paar mehr. Okay, wir rüsten mal neu aus. Okay. Hier, glaube ich. Warum hat der auch das Bauernoutfit bekommen? Genau, und bei Shion der Zopf. Ach, jeder hat das Bauernoutfit bekommen. Oder auch nicht. Doch. Also. Alfen hier hat vor über 300 Jahren ist er in diesem Labor, wo wir gerade sind, modifiziert worden, dass er ein Herrscher ist. Das ist mal ein Fakt. Nayori ist die damalige Jungfer gewesen. Sie hat, ich nenne es mal, diese Dornen entdeckt. Da war es aber schon zu spät. Alfen hatte einen beträchtlichen Schaden erlitten. Sie hat ihm die Maske auf den Kopf gesetzt und in diese Kapsel gesteckt. Und um ihr Volk zu retten, ist sie zurückgeblieben. Alfen in dieser Kapsel mit der Maske auf dem Kopf hat über 300 Jahre geschlafen. Aufgrund der Maske und dieser Kapsel hat er seine Erinnerung komplett verloren. Was aber mit Zerstören der Maske zum Teil, also nachdem die Maske halb kaputt war, zum Teil wiedergekommen ist. Nachdem die Maske ganz kaputt war, war die Erinnerung, ich nenne es jetzt mal so 80% wieder da. Also an sehr vieles kann er sich wieder erinnern. Ja, das Spiel hat ja angefangen, wir haben die Maske auf dem Kopf. Ich habe mich immer noch gefragt, wie kann er mit der Maske auf dem Kopf essen. Aber gut, auf jeden Fall. Wir haben Shion hier kennengelernt mit ihren wunderbaren Dornen. Ja, und beim ersten Kampf haben wir festgestellt, ja, wir müssen die Lords töten, um ihre Dornen zu, ja, also dass ihre Dornen dadurch weggehen könnten, wenn man den Überchor macht. Das stand jetzt mal mehrfach im Raum. Na? Du hat schöne Waffen, neue. Das Schwert passt besser. Auf jeden Fall, summa summarum, nachdem wir den 5. Lord besiegt hatten, kam ja ein, naja, was soll ich sagen, wie nach dem Akt 1 Tutorial, wo wir gegen den 1. Lord gekämpft haben. Das sieht irgendwie voll süß aus. Erstmal das hier. Und die Hudelpuppe kommt mal weg. Flügel. Schwarze Augenklappe, nein. Charakter ansehen. Ja, ist süß. Passt. Dann gehen die im Partnerlook. Nee, der bleibt bei seinem. Mistgabel. Nein. Nein. Du bleibst bei dem dunklen Stab hier. Sieht am geilsten aus. Ja. Und jetzt geht's halt darum, die Welt zu retten vor den Dornen. Und Shion zu retten. Weil sie sonst wahrscheinlich an den Dornen stirbt.